What's up, everybody? Rob here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is time for another live stream here on the channel. I want to talk about Tesla right now. I want to talk about what they are doing with their cash on hand, why they have that cash on hand, and what they should do with that cash on hand, in my personal opinion. I wanted to do this live with you all, so let's get right on into this. Tesla did a $1.5 billion buy of Bitcoin to a lot of skeptics. A lot of people very skeptical about that investment. And as more time has gone on, it seems that they are drawing more and more criticism for doing this buy of Bitcoin. Personally, I think the move was genius, and I think that it could have started a major snowball effect into what is to come now with the entire space of all of the different companies out there that now can be converting their treasuries to something other than dollars. Very interesting on what could happen here. It could get, to me, it seems like a snowball effect. It could start really snowballing, and everybody in the Bitcoin community has to really give Michael Saylor a lot of credit right now, because the coincidence of Tesla making this move into Bitcoin at just a little bit after Michael Saylor was in a tweet conversation with Elon Musk is extremely interesting. So I believe that conversation happened between Michael Saylor and Elon Musk. I don't think it's a long shot to think that they spoke. And in that Twitter conversation, if you look up Michael Saylor tweets Elon Musk on Google or something, I'm sure it'll show up the tweets that they had back and forth. And Michael Saylor essentially said, I will give you my strategy. I will tell you why we went into Bitcoin, over $1 billion into Bitcoin. I will give you our strategy here. And shortly after, Tesla buys 1.5 billion of Bitcoin. Interesting. So in my personal opinion, I think Michael Saylor had a lot to do with this movement by Tesla. And I'm very proud to see, well, I can't be proud. It's not, I didn't have anything to do with it, but it's awesome rather to see Tesla make this move and make this leap. You got to remember, this is an over $800 billion juggernaut of a company. $815 billion Tesla is worth right now. For them to do this is huge. And I know that I have been going live and I've been talking about the dogecoin thing, or is it dogecoin, or however people are pronouncing it. Let's kind of put that on the back burner right now and just kind of focus on this aspect of what Tesla is doing with that capital. I mean, they haven't bought this dogecoin. I would imagine they don't. It would be nice to see them do that, but it doesn't seem like they're doing that. But let's put that in the back right now. Maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I believe Michael Saylor had some sort of impact on this movement. And to see, I believe Michael Saylor's company, I'm always getting it wrong. Is it Microsystems or Micro Solutions or Microsystems? One of those two. He put over $1 billion of his treasury into Bitcoin and converted their treasury to Bitcoin. And who actually could change a monetary system? Who actually could do it? Well, the companies changing their treasuries that are publicly traded companies, changing their treasuries from dollars to Bitcoin. That could definitely affect the monetary system. That could definitely affect things for the future of Bitcoin and whether or not it gets adopted. This is certainly a huge step in the main direction of going into a digital age, going into a blockchain age of major checks and balances of money supply. You know, the dollar is something that has been taken advantage of for a very long time, not only by the big banks, but also by the institutions, all of the different hedge funds that have been taking advantage of the dollar for so long, and their ability to do credit lines against the dollar, give out loans against the dollar, be able to multiply it in ways that it should have never been able to do what it's done. We shouldn't be, this far into debt based on printing these dollars. You can't just print Bitcoin out of thin air. It's the only asset class that is actually hardening over time. It ends at 21 million, and it's getting harder and harder to mine a Bitcoin. So this asset class is actually ultimately finite and hardening over time. And for individuals out there like Schiff to say, you know, hey, this is nothing, Bitcoin's a zero. I mean, Tesla just bought 1.5 billion of this. You know, Michael Saylor's company has bought over 1 billion of this. You got major billionaires like Chamath Palihapitiya out there promoting Bitcoin for years and years, and he still is. I don't know about a zero. I don't know. It seems like a long shot to call it a zero. It doesn't really look like that. But what I wanted to make this video about, and why I put this silver here out there, all my fellow silver squirrels in the live feed, welcome. MicroStrategy. Thank you. Everybody in the live stream. Why are you talking to a wall? Okay, I'll direct to the camera. I'm talking to my computer right here. I'm looking at the screen. But I wanted to talk about something with Tesla that a lot of people are overlooking in this live stream, other than the Bitcoin aspect of it. Tesla, and this is why I was so opposed to GameStop weeks ago, and I got a lot of, just like the people from Doge didn't like my video. So everybody wants to hit the like button and get this video out to more people. I'd really appreciate all my fellow silver squirrels out there hitting the like button so this information gets out there to more people. The Dogecoin guys weren't big fans of me saying, you know, I don't know about this Dogecoin thing at the all-time hype during the Super Bowl, but I also was opposed to the GameStop. I thought it was a brilliant, beautiful thing that they did with GameStop in the very beginning to stick it to the hedge funds, and I love to see that. Love to see that. But after the fact, I know that hedge funds love volatility. They have the supercomputers. They are getting the playbooks. So they were making now the game with GameStop. They have their eyeballs on it. You know, don't. What's the saying? You know, just don't overdo something. Don't overdo it. You won in the beginning. You made a statement, and it was beautiful. It was elegant, and it was amazing to see people get together and make a statement to the hedge funds. I love it. Love it. But don't overdo something. Find the next short. Find the next good investment. You know, you got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them. You got to know. And so if you're in that investment world, you got to know when the time's up. And now all the eyeballs are on it. These hedge funds love volatility. So watch out with the GameStop and the AMC and all of that. And that's why I was talking about, you know, GameStop not being a good play when it was like, what was it, 200 when I did that video? I know there's a lot of people in the live feed now that were in those live feeds. You know, I was against GameStop when everybody was really pumping it. Where's GameStop now? Let's take a look. I remember that video. And I'm surprised actually this movement isn't too bad. Oh, it's down to 50 now. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, that doesn't, I mean, the thing is, it's like, it doesn't make me, I mean, look at that chart. Look at the chart right there on GameStop. I mean, it just totally didn't hold it. Didn't hold it. And all the people with diamond hands, you know, somebody, I make this joke with the diamond hand things. You got the people that say diamond hands. We got silver hands. My fellow silver squirrels out there, we got silver hands, you know, and, you know, the diamond hand people, you can't really have like your whole hand made out of diamond, I guess. So I always imagine it like a diamond in the center like that. And it's like some Indiana Jones type thing where somebody's running in and trying to grab that diamond real quick and split. You know, it's diamond hands. It's diamond hands until somebody grabs a diamond and splits off with it. That's what happened with GameStop. You know, you got the people that, you know, sold out. And now the hedge funds are in full control, and you got to understand the power of these hedge funds. We can catch them off guard. People can catch a hedge fund off guard, but you can't beat them in the long game. In the long game, they just have way more resources. So you got to find the next play. You got to find the next play. You won in the beginning. It was beautiful. It was elegant. Props to you. Nothing but the utmost respect for doing what you did. And I thought it was beautiful. You know, before I get more into this video, I have to say that my videos are for financial education based on my opinion. Could be wrong, could be completely wrong. I'm not a Series 7, not a financial advisor. So disclaimer. But what I want to talk about now is if I was in charge of Tesla, and why I brought up GameStop actually is I had talked about in the past with GameStop that I would do a secondary. I would do an offering. I'd try to offer shares and get some of that money into the treasury. And the reason I would do that is because if an investor looks at your company balance sheet and goes, oh, wow, GameStop, when they were really getting, shot up there, they did an offering of shares and they brought in $3 billion of capital or $1 billion of capital. Wow, they got a lot of free capital on their balance sheet. That's an interesting company to put some money into. Wow, look at all that money they got in the reserves over there. It would have been a brilliant decision. A lot of people think, that it would have, I think it probably would have crashed the stock a bit if they did an offering. But once people realized that they grabbed that money out of the market and put it into their treasury, I think it would have been a huge decision to the upside of GameStop. I would be considering a position in GameStop if they had a bunch of cash in the treasury, but they didn't do that. They never did a secondary, and I'd imagine that they might. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't. What's their market cap right now? I mean, they should have done an offering when it was in the hundreds. It was there for a solid few days, but its market cap now is at 3.5 billion. I'd still do an offering for about $500 million or something like that, or whatever I could. If I was in charge of GameStop, I'd try to put as much money in the treasury as possible. But why do I bring that up? Because Tesla did that. If you all don't remember, everybody in the live feed, Tesla did multiple offerings of stock. They brought in multiple times where they brought billions. I believe they did a $5 billion stock offering not very long ago. I believe it was in December of, 2020? December of 2020, they did a $5 billion stock offering. So they did what I'm talking about what GameStop should have done. When the going is good, you got to take some money and put it in your treasury. And the whole Jim Chano's short thesis is, Tesla's cash burn is too heavy. They're going to run out of cash. There's no way they can keep up with this. Tesla's going to for sure, run out of cash and go bankrupt, right? That was the whole story. So all of us that have been watching Tesla stock for so long, that was the story behind it. But you know what Tesla did? When the stock was skyrocketing, Elon Musk made a brilliant decision, and the executive panel at Tesla made a brilliant decision in doing offerings. And they did secondaries. So what a secondary is when they give shares to the public, sell shares to the public, dilute their shares a bit, but they bring in that cash into the treasury. And now, because of that offering, they actually have that money in their bank account. So imagine just you as a person, you have upside to whatever you're doing, your business or whatever it is. And you go, a lot of people are really watching my business right now. And a lot of people are valuing it pretty high. You value it this high? You value my idea this high? Investors, okay, well, I will offer you X amount of my business for this much capital to put into the company. That's what they're doing. They did with the secondaries. They put capital into their treasury with Tesla. Now they're sitting on, I believe it's 15 to 20 billion in free capital just sitting in the treasury of Tesla. Keep in mind, their market cap not very long ago was 30, 35 billion. So to have literally your old market cap sitting in a treasury, just liquid free cash, is a pretty amazing position to be in. And it makes the company it made the stock actually go up. Every time they did a stock offering in the beginning, the market was trying to feel it out, and then they went up. And then the market was trying to feel out this offering, and then it went up because they realized, they can't go bankrupt anymore. They have a ton of free cash in the treasury. They have all of these free dollars just sitting there in the treasury. And when I say free dollars, I mean they got it off the open market, and now it's just free to do with what they please. It's liquid. So what did they do with this liquid cash recently? Well, they bought 1.5 billion of Bitcoin. Ironically, right after Michael Saylor was in a conversation with Elon Musk on Twitter about Bitcoin. Interesting. So why talk about all of that? Well, first, it's good to just talk about what Tesla did, why they have all this cash sitting in the reserves, and how healthy they are as a company because of that. So a lot of people were not understanding what I meant by doing a secondary on GameStop. And I still mean it. I mean, if I would be trying to take as much capital as I could, while the going is good, and honestly, it's down to 50 now. So it fell quite a bit on GameStop, but there was some serious back then, I had a lot of people not very happy about me saying, hey, I don't think that this whole pumping game, I think it's over now. I think you guys won in the beginning and now it's over, But again, why talk about all of this? I think it would be a brilliant decision for Tesla to buy physical silver. They have not done this yet, to the best of my knowledge. I imagine they have. Well, they must have some physical silver under their materials section of their expenses for operation of Tesla. They have to if they're making solar panels. So if you are using silver in your electrical components, in your conductors, and you are using silver and quite a bit of silver in solar panels, and now you are looking for things to do with your treasury money, and so much so that you are willing to take a speculative risk into Bitcoin, which I think is brilliant. And I want to talk about more how that can turn into a very big deal with Bitcoin, but silver not only for an investment with Tesla. And I'm saying this in hopes that somehow the ether of the internet gets this information out to somebody important at Tesla. And, you know, you never know. I had, 2,000 subscribers like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. So you never know what the powers of the internet can do. So everybody that smashes the like button, maybe this information gets out there to Tesla or to Elon Musk or something. All the people smashing the like button and getting this out there, or whoever shares this video, because I mean, I would have, if you told me 2 weeks ago that I would be at almost 12,000 subscribers here on YouTube, I would have said, come on, man, I'm at 2,000. There's no way I can jump up to 12,000, 10,000 people in, a couple weeks. There's no way. That's crazy. But here we are. So everybody in the live feed right now, I appreciate you all being here. It's intense on what has happened here on YouTube. So I would normally say it's a long shot to get this information out to Tesla, but you never know with the powers of the internet. You never know what could happen with, us fellow silver squirrels in here. You never know. It's like the craziest thing that this channel has blown up in the way it has. But I want to get out there into the ether of the internet that I think it would be a great idea for Tesla to accumulate a material that is getting more and more scarce. It is in the mainstream right now of everybody talking about, a possible short squeeze in silver. And as the population continues to accumulate silver and the demand obviously is exceeding the supply because the premiums are still going up. Even between dealers, the dealers are paying more than the retail public often. It's blowing my mind. I remember I've seen some deals going to dealer wholesale for more than what retail is willing to pay at that time. That means that there are dealers that have buyers that want silver so bad that they are willing to overpay the retail audience online to get the silver into their shop to sell to the retail. I have never seen anything like this. I believe it was something like this back in like 2011, but I wasn't in the business in 2011. Mineral exchange didn't exist in 2011. So this is the first time I have seen something like this, and the demand is not slowing down for silver. So would it be crazy? What do you guys think in the live feed here? Would it be crazy to see Tesla make an announcement and say, we have bought $1 billion in physical silver? It seems, obviously I'm a big fan of what they did with Bitcoin here. I think it's amazing. I think it was a brilliant decision in my personal opinion. But why not? If you have a $15 billion treasury, roughly, I believe it's somewhere between 15 and 20 billion in their treasury right now. Why wouldn't you want to accumulate a material that is getting more and more scarce? The physical supply is not enough to meet the demand, and you use it as a main component in your solar panels. Why would you not want to accumulate that physical metal in your treasury? You likely already buy silver for your materials of building a solar panel because you need silver for solar panels. So why not accumulate a large silver position to be a hedge not only against hyperinflation in the dollar, but also to have the physical silver on hand for the inevitable need for silver? Seems like a pretty brilliant idea. To just, have the silver. And to those, I think there's a few people saying that they should just mine the silver. I think that silver is so cheap right now, and the cost to mine it doesn't make as much sense as just buying the physical metal while the going is good. While you got a ton of free dollars in your reserves, while you got a lot of free cash in the reserve, why not just accumulate a metal that is undervalued and a metal that you need to produce solar panels? If you really want to be one up on all of your competition in the solar sector and in the electronic sector, and well, all the electronics that you are producing, you know, why not accumulate the metals that you need? And in addition to silver, like the lithium and all of that stuff, why not just buy as much as you possibly can with your treasury, put $1 billion into each, you know, and get as much of the metal that you need to produce what you need to produce, not only because you need it as the materials, but also because it is a hedge against inflation. You are buying something that is somewhat finite and needs to be mined, and you have all of these free dollars that are being printed like crazy. You know, so if this message, all the people that are smashing the like button, everybody that's getting in the live feed right now, I hope this message gets out there, because I think it would be brilliant to make that decision. They're talking about Tesla buying gold, and I'm like, why would you buy gold right now? I mean, I get it. It's a hedge. It's a metal. It's better than dollars, certainly. But if I was Tesla, I would buy not only the metal that is more rare than gold, but I would buy the metal that I need for my solar panels. I would buy silver. So I saw a couple interviews. I believe it was like Kitco or something like that did an interview talking about Tesla buying gold. I want to talk about, why has Tesla not bought silver? I think that would be a brilliant decision. You know, I think it would be a brilliant decision for Tesla to be buying silver. And yes, it does make that beautiful. Silver has a certain clink to it. It's just a nice clink. And we got our silver hands in the live feed. All of us fellow silver squirrels in here, you know. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Say it in the comments. I'm looking at the comments here. But yeah, I mean, right now, Tesla has a treasury roughly in the 15 billion range. Roughly in the 15 billion. I believe it's somewhere between 15 billion and 20 billion in free capital. Free liquid dollars sitting there in their accounts. Now, they really only need like 5 billion, 10 billion of that at most, because they got a great business model. They're really crushing it. They're profitable. I mean, it seems like what you would want to do is hedge against the inevitable inflation that is coming and buy silver. Buy, you know, if you need lithium for your, you know, batteries, buy that too. Not just silver, but all the materials that you need. Maybe it's time to stock up on that, because imagine the prices of lithium skyrocket, the prices of silver skyrockets. You would be in a fantastic position against your competition if you had the materials that they need in the treasury, and you have the lower cost point on your solar panels and your items that need that material, because you already have the materials ready to go. Wouldn't that be brilliant? Wouldn't that be brilliant? I mean, I think that would be just, if I saw an announcement, yeah, I mean, I appreciate, you know, the people talking about Tesla buying gold, but I think the better decision would be to buy silver, because they actually need the silver. They actually need it. They use it. So why would you not want the silver? You know, I get the gold. I mean, I'd rather have gold than dollars to myself, you know, but I also rank things in a certain order. First in my investments is silver. It's always been first. Silver has been my number one choice. It might not get the 1,000% returns as whatever gets pumped and dumped or whatever in the stock market or in the altcoin world. But you know what? It consistently makes me money. And I make jokes to all the people that, you know, that when we follow the people that follow my Instagram, rather, they see the jokes I make about how you get a person that turns, and nothing against them, you know, you got to take risks to get that first initial capital together. But there's a difference between turning something from, you know, 500 to 2,000 on a good, you know, gamble, whether it's, you know, betting on a call option or something, on a short-term call option on GameStop or whatever, you made some quick money and you want to brag to everybody, hey, I turned 500 into 2,000, or I turned 1,000 into 5,000. You know, look at me. I made $4,000 off 1,000 in a week. You know, look at me, look at me. I think it is what a lot of people don't understand is there's people out there that have $1 million and they just make their consistent 20% on $1 million. 10, 20% a year annually on $1 million. And that's $100,000, $200,000 over the year by just going after a consistent low percentage that is somewhat, you know, that is stronger than inflation rates. the amount of money that can compound by making a consistent 10% annually, a consistent 20% annually. Sometimes a lot of people, they don't give silver the respect it deserves. It's been the best performing asset. It has been outperforming everything in 2020 other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just eating silver's lunch on performance, but silver is continuously, steadily going up and is more and more needed as the demand exceeds the supply. So I love silver as somewhat of a bank account. You know, it's like, why would you want your money sitting in dollars? Cash is just constantly getting printed. And now they just did the new stimulus, right? So another 3 trillion, I believe, right? 3 trillion injected into the economy now. Another 3 trillion. Where do you go cash that stimulus check? You give it to the commercial bank, and you most likely don't cash it. It's now, I believe it's digitally put into your bank account. Then the commercial banks have that money. So where is the majority of that 3 trillion? In the commercial banks. And where do you spend it? Into somebody else's commercial bank. You know? So you got it in your commercial bank, and then if you go spend it on a debit card or wherever, they put it into their commercial bank. So that money's just put into the commercial banks, really. When you do a 3 trillion stimulus package, it's not like you got 3 trillion of freshly pressed $100 bills or printed $100 bills. No, it gets digitally injected into our commercial banking system that then gives out loans at their own discretion to whatever amount they want. They don't have to put any in the vault. So that's the difference between a reserve bank and a non-reserve bank. Right now we have non-reserve banks, your Bank of America, your Chase, your Wells Fargo, non-reserve banks, which means you give them your money, they do whatever they want with it. You want your money, you got to answer a lot of questions. That's what a non-reserve bank is. A reserve bank is where you have a depository, say, where you deposit your silver, and you actually got to pay them to hold your money. That's how banks kind of started, is you pay them to be the safe haven for your money. You trust them with the money, and they got to watch over it. And it's kind of, you know, it's a liability to have to watch over money. But with the banks that we have right now, it is not a liability because they can do whatever they want with your money. So how do you take power away from the hedge funds and from the banks? Well, you don't keep your money with them. You know, it's like, it's that simple. It's so simple, you know, and physical silver being a shortage right now in physical silver and the demand exceeding the supply. What a brilliant time for Tesla to announce, hey, we bought $1 billion worth of silver because we use a lot of it. We use, you know, X amount of tons of it per year. And it's a good idea to keep a lot of it in our vaults and in our treasury here because we need the physical silver to build solar panels. We need the physical silver for our conductors. Let's go ahead and buy a lot of physical silver. You know, that would be an epic announcement if they, you know, contacted the COMEX or whatever they did to accumulate a huge position in silver. Because they not only want a hedge for all of the money they have printed, in all the money that they're printing right now. I mean, they just printed 3 trillion. So if you're a good CFO, if you're trying to manage the money within Tesla's treasury, what a great place to park money. Not just for the investment purpose of silver and the fact that it's been money for a very long time. Since pretty much the beginning of man, silver has been considered money. It's in our own constitution, silver is money. So why not have it in your vaults? Because you use it. You use that silver. So it's not only the money, but also the fact that it is a material for you specifically at Tesla to use. You want to get in the solar panel game and you want to, you know, really get in the solar panel game big. I believe it's 0.65 of a troy ounce per solar panel that they use. So nearly an ounce of silver per solar panel. That's pretty important of a material to have if you're going to be producing solar panels. So yes, this Bitcoin decision, I think it was brilliant. I think it was brilliant. And let's talk some more about what that could mean for the entire financial system. What Tesla did might actually save the stock market if more companies do what they did and they continue to accumulate Bitcoin, because who really writes the monetary system is all the institutions and all of the companies and their treasuries. So if more companies park their treasury money into an asset, well, that's going to get a higher valuation and more of them are going to continue to adopt that. Do you know how many institutions watched this buy by Tesla, watched this buy of 1.5 billion of Bitcoin and went, Okay, guys, we always put about 3 to 5% into emerging markets, and Tesla just bought 1.5 billion of Bitcoin. Yeah, guys, let's go ahead and buy 1% of Bitcoin in our institution now. They do this. Institutions put money in kind of risky emerging markets. They do it with a small percentage of their portfolio, but if all these institutions are now watching what Tesla just did, this is not a small company. This is not a small company at all. This is a company with the same market cap as Bitcoin. Yeah, Tesla literally has the same market cap as Bitcoin. They're both over 800 billion. They're roughly, it's ironic how close they actually are. They're almost identical in their market caps. So if you think the other institutions out there, all the CEOs of major companies have not been looking at the headlines that Tesla just bought 1.5 billion of Bitcoin, I think you might be mistaken. I think they're looking at it, and they're looking at it very close. Because what is money? We used to consider money seashells. I made a video about this. If you go back to my videos on my channel, I made a video recently about Bitcoin where there's like a, in the thumbnail, there's kind of like a digital thing with a Bitcoin going into the digital dollars going into Bitcoin. We've considered seashells money. We've considered, salt money. We've considered cattle to be money as we've evolved as humans. If all these big companies start considering Bitcoin to be money, well, it's on a blockchain. You can see how much of it is moving around. It's finite at 21 million, and it's hardening over time. It's the only asset class that is hardening over time. And meanwhile, the money that you are valuing the company in is being printed like crazy and then also multiplied by the commercial banks at a 0% interest rate. So you wouldn't, to the people that think Bitcoin is foolish internet money, what is fiat currency then? What is money that you can print at your own discretion, $3 trillion out of thin air, and then inject it into, you actually digitally inject it right into people's commercial bank accounts, where those commercial banks then use that money at their own discretion and give out loans and give out that money like candy for 8% or whatever they're making on that money. And then they give you nothing for that money, but they make a ton of money off your money. And then they give you less than 1% to keep your money with them, just, so you can use their little debit card, and you got your money on your screen right here that's not backed to any blockchain or anything like that. When you open your banking app and you see, oh, I got 10,000 in my bank right now, I got 100,000 in my bank right now, that's just a digital number on a screen. That's not money back to a blockchain. That's not like, you don't actually own that money. You can't just, take that money and put it somewhere else immediately. You have to contact the bank and let them know, hey, I need to do a wire transfer of this amount. Hey, I want that much money right now. And they're going to ask questions about that. But what's really going on is you see a digital number on your screen that's not on any blockchain, not back to anything. And if all of us went back to the commercial banks to ask for our money, they wouldn't be able to supply it. They wouldn't be able to supply it, because all of that money that they have, if they have, let's just throw a number out there, 100 trillion in the commercial banks across, all the commercial banks and loans and whatever, all the money that they have. And then, all of the population came there. Let's put the number somewhere like 10 trillion or something. I don't know exactly what the number is. It's somewhere in the crazy amounts of trillions. If everybody went back to the bank, it would be more than the supply readily available. Better yet, only 8% or so of the money is cash, is actual physical cash. So most of it already is digital. So if people asked for cash from the bank, they wouldn't be able to supply it because most of it already is digital. They wouldn't be able to supply it. And what they do with that money is they use it against you in the stock market. So when you get your check, your stimulus check, it goes digitally into the bank, and then the bank uses that money against you. So that's the system we have. And oh, by the way, when they inevitably fail, it seems like when Bank of America fails in 2007 and 8, when they go bankrupt, then they come back to you to bail them out. So you got to bail them out with the dollars that they diluted. You got to use those dollars to bail them out. And they're printing and printing and printing and printing this. And they just printed 3 trillion. So yeah, if I was Tesla and I was in charge of these companies, I would be thinking about converting my treasury to Bitcoin. So yeah, Bitcoin is this crazy internet money. It's wild to think that this money has turned into what it is, but the system is elegant. It works flawlessly. It's been tested over, what's it now, 13 years we're going on, 12, 13 years. It's been pretty tested through ups and downs, and now here it is where it is. It's finite at 21 million. You can move it easily and control your own bank. You're essentially, when you have a hard wallet in crypto, when you have one of the ledgers or the Trezors or the Kobo wallet or whatever it is, you are essentially a bank. You have the keys to that money. When you see your hard wallet and you see, hey, I have, 1 Bitcoin in my hard wallet, you have that Bitcoin. That Bitcoin that Tesla bought for 1.5 billion, it is not in a bank being leveraged and getting no interest or anything. When you give 1.5 billion to a commercial bank, they use that 1.5 billion however they want. It's not really there at that bank. It's not sitting in some vault somewhere. When you have 1.5 billion of Bitcoin, though, you own that Bitcoin. That Bitcoin is in their treasury. They have it. That's something that a lot of people haven't wrapped around their mind, that you are a reserve bank. And I just talked about the difference between a reserve bank and the commercial banks that we have right now. A reserve bank is where you actually have the money, where you actually control the money. That's a reserve bank. When you give someone 300 ounces of silver and they put it in a vault and they store the silver in the vault and they don't leverage that money, they don't put that money in the stock market, they leave it there in the vault for you to get it when you want. That's a reserve bank. They keep 100% of the money sitting there and they don't touch it. They don't mess with it. It's the opposite of what we currently have. They take the money and they just go, okay, let's play with it, guys. Give them 0.00001% on this money. Perfect. Give out all of these loans, give out loans like candy. It's at 0%. They have no fractional reserve banking now. They used to have to keep 10% in the vault. So they were a 10% reserve bank before they dropped it to 0. So now they can give out whatever they want. They can just give out as many loans as they want. It's like taking candy from a baby, what these banks get away with. So all of that to say, it wouldn't be a crazy assumption that more companies are thinking about what to do with their treasuries right now. They see Tesla do what they did, and they see how much Tesla's just winning. They have been nonstop winning, it seems like. That stock just steadily continues to go up and really hasn't pulled back much. When I pull up Tesla stock, I think its all-time high is relatively close to where it is now. Its all-time high here, the 52-week high, is 900, and it's closed at 850. So 50 points off of its all-time high. It's holding pretty strong with Tesla. You would think that this move into Bitcoin would cause a little bit more speculation than this minor pullback that they're on, a percent or two. It's only down $13 on the close or $14 on the close. So you'd think that people would be a little bit speculative. Okay, they put 1.5 billion, but realistically, they put, what is it, 0.5% of their treasury in Bitcoin? 1% or 0.5%. So it's not very much they put into Bitcoin. It sounds like a lot, 1.5 billion, but they have 15, 20 billion in their treasury, and they're profitable. So the company's running really well right now. I mean, it seems like a rather smart decision to be doing what they did, but what it is it's like standing on the top of a mountain and everybody was throwing snowballs in the Bitcoin community. You got like Michael Saylor, and you got Raoul Paul, and you got Chamath Palihapitiya, and you got, Kathy Woods. They're all throwing these snowballs off the top of this mountain, and they're hoping for a snowball effect. They're hoping for, an avalanche to pick up and this snowball to roll down the mountain and continue to gain momentum. And now we're looking at a snowball, really gaining momentum in Bitcoin here. Really, really gaining momentum. When you see PayPal adopting it, you see Cash App adopting it, and now you see companies like Tesla. I've talked about this in past videos that my thing was, I don't know if I brought up Tesla. I'd have to go back to that video that I did on Bitcoin where I said I disagreed with Peter Schiff. I made a video that I disagreed with Peter Schiff when Bitcoin was like 10,000, another one when it was like 15,000, and another one was like 16, 17,000. And he actually commented on one of them. And I'll probably post that comment again on my Instagram. I think I posted it one time, but it's not looking too hot for the anti-Bitcoiner argument at this point, Peter Schiff. I think at this point you might owe me that interview. Maybe we should talk about it, because I'm a precious metals bug. I'm a silver bug. We're all silver squirrels in here, but I also think Bitcoin's pretty legit. I think it's pretty cool. You know, I think it's very interesting to see micro. Someone literally told me Microsystems or whatever. Michael Saylor's company. When you see him put over $1 billion in it, and now you see Tesla put over $1 billion in it, put 1.5 billion. Yeah, that snowball is rolling down the mountain, and it's big, and it's gaining momentum. I mean, there really isn't stop. You can't stop it now. If you have your major companies in the U.S. market, in the U.S. equities market, converting their treasuries to Bitcoin, yeah, that affects the monetary system. Yeah, other companies are watching that. Yeah, other institutions are watching that. And if Bitcoin, look what happened with Michael Saylor's company. The valuation grew tremendously because they got in Bitcoin early, and now their holdings in their treasury are worth way more money. So obviously the company's worth way more money. So do you think that when you're a smart CFO of a company and you see that they've printed $3 trillion already, and they printed last year over 10 trillion or roughly $10 trillion? Yeah, you don't know if you want to really hold those dollars. You know, it might not be a good idea. And while the dollar is looking like it's strong, maybe the smart people know that it's not really strong and they want to do something with that. So let's look at the dollar index right now. Wow, platinum is just really skyrocketing. We've been talking about platinum for a while, and I've got quite a platinum holding, and it's up $30 again. Platinum just broke 1,200. Silver right now at $27.50. Pretty strong, pretty strong. The 6-month chart on platinum is intense. The 6-month chart on silver is intense. Or rather, yeah, the 6-month chart, I mean, it just shows how much upside silver has. I mean, it was at 27 in August, and the 6-month chart shows it's finally back over 27, but silver should be 50, 60. It should be well over all-time highs, but it's not. You know, if you look at the 5-year chart on silver, it's pretty great. You look at the 60-day chart on silver, it's great. You know, and so right now metals are skyrocketing, but I wanted to look at the dollar index. The dollar index still sitting over 90. You know, it's like with GameStop. You know, you got to do that secondary when the getting is good. When the getting's good, you got to take advantage of it. You know, and that's what Tesla did. When Tesla had the hype at all, look what happened with them actually. You know, when they got hyped, kind of like GameStop got hyped, except they got a way better company than GameStop. When they got hyped, they did the secondary and they took that money and they put it in their reserves. What happened after they did that? Well, they kept that hype. They kept that hype and they kept their stock at that high price because they actually got the money that they needed in the treasury to do what they need to do with the company. Now they got that capital there to do things like buy 1.5 billion of Bitcoin, something that a lot of companies fail to do. When the getting is good, you got to take that money and put it in your treasury. But now all of the companies that have dollars parked in their treasury, what are you going to do with them? You going to sit on them? Because they're getting printed. They're getting diluted quick. They're getting diluted real quick. So what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them? I think specifically with Tesla, because you're using silver in your actual components that you make, in your actual product is using this metal, what a brilliant play that would be to buy a large position in physical silver. Because if the demand continues to exceed the supply, that could be damaging to the actual business itself if they don't do that. If they don't accumulate a large silver position, they could essentially damage their solar panel business if silver skyrockets and they don't have any on hand to make their solar panels. You can charge more for solar panels, sure. But what if the supply isn't there to make the solar panel and the supply wants more than you're willing to pay? It might make sense to just have that supply sitting there for you and be ready for it. And if other companies out there, the Sonys, you know, all of the Samsungs, how many tons of silver do they use per year? That's the wild card, you know, but it's quite a bit. They use a lot. Are they going to be starting to accumulate silver with their treasury? Are they going to buy Bitcoin with their treasury? Because they certainly don't want to be sitting on dollars, because dollars are looking pretty diluted right now. And honestly, just like I said, you got to, you know, get when the getting's good. The dollar is at a high level right now. The dollar index shouldn't be over 90 in my personal opinion. I think that's smoke and mirrors. I don't think the dollar is nearly as strong as that. You know, if you inject 3 trillion at a 0% interest rate, the dollar should be tanking. should be tanking on this news because you diluted it. Why would it go up after being diluted? It doesn't make any sense. Logic is just up is down, down is up. It doesn't make any sense. So what they just did with Tesla exposed, oh, wait a minute. This might be a really smart move. Wait a minute, the dollar is being diluted. And the fact that they did it, and they wrote in the, I believe in the SEC, like they have to obviously give some information to the SEC when you do something like buy 1.5 billion of Bitcoin. In that, they literally wrote something along the lines of, we want to preserve our capital. If you think other companies didn't read that and go, Tesla literally worded it as, we want to preserve our capital because we're, scared of what could happen against inflation and all these things. They're looking at that and going, what should we do? What should we do? Tesla did this. What should we do? Everybody in the Bitcoin community really has to thank Michael Saylor for this. Michael Saylor is really at the forefront of Bitcoin and of the revolution into Bitcoin, of what's happening here. He is the only one that really rallied companies because he knows in order to actually change a monetary system, you have to get the companies to convert their treasuries to that new monetary system. And essentially what Elon Musk and what Tesla did by buying 1.5 billion of Bitcoin is essentially take $1.5 billion out of the fiat currency system and poofed it into Bitcoin, where now that money is no longer in that overly inflated system anymore. It is now into Bitcoin. Very interesting. Very interesting. And if more people do that, then you are literally converting from dollars to Bitcoin. You are literally changing the monetary system by doing that. And what a powerful player to do that. This isn't like some small player. I mean, Michael Saylor isn't a small player. He bought over $1 billion in Bitcoin himself with his company's treasury. But Tesla is like a name brand. That's a name brand that's valued at 800 billion plus. I think it's 815 billion with a treasury of roughly 15 to 20 billion with free cash flow right now, buying 1.5 billion in Bitcoin. That's not the same as Michael Saylor buying over $1 billion in Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor, I think he's one of the coolest guys in the whole community. I have nothing but respect for him, and his arguments have so much logic behind them. But the idea of Tesla doing this is not to be overlooked. It's just like when PayPal got into Bitcoin. And I was talking about this is back when Bitcoin was 10,000. I made these videos saying I was opposed to what Peter Schiff was saying on Bitcoin because the barrier of entry with Bitcoin is lower than ever before, while information and hype is at all-time highs. Back on the first bull run, and was it like 2013 when it hit 20,000, you had a situation where the barrier of entry was high back on that first run. And this is why I talked about it going past that, all-time high of 20,000 it once hit. When it hit that all-time high of 20,000 back, what was it, 7-8 years ago, it hit 20,000, but the barrier of entry was up here. It was high. You had to trust Coinbase, and Coinbase was relatively new, and you didn't have many ways to buy Bitcoin. You didn't have these established businesses to buy Bitcoin. Now, and also the information was at all-time lows back then. The hype was at lows and the information was at lows, while the barrier of entry was high back at that first run over to 20,000, and then it pulled back all the way to 3,000. I think even down to like 2,000 at one point, 3,000. So it crashed from 20,000 down to that 3,000. But then what changed here is the information grew exponentially. You got guys like me talking about Bitcoin. You got I'm a small fry, but if you get the Michael Saylors, you get the Chain with Paul Hapatias out there, you get all of these big time billionaires and venture capitalists talking about Bitcoin. The information and the hype is at all-time highs. Now you got Tesla buying in Bitcoin. Now the hype is all the way up there, all the way up there. You think the dogecoin thing got hype. The fact that they actually bought 1.5 billion with the treasury and publicly announced that all over the internet, all over CNBC, yeah, that's huge. The hype is at all-time highs. The information is at all-time highs. Yet the barrier of entry went from only Coinbase and very limited places to buy Bitcoin way down to PayPal in it, Cash App in it. It's made Bitcoin an impulse buy. All of the money sitting in your PayPal after you sold something or whatever, you have money sitting there in your PayPal. You got money sitting there in your Cash App. it's made Bitcoin an impulse buy where you go, you know what? I might as well convert my treasury into Bitcoin. You know, I got 10 grand sitting in that account in there and it's in PayPal. I sold something on PayPal and mine as well, you know, boop, got Bitcoin now. It made it as easy as clicking a button on a company that you really trust. You trust PayPal. You trust Cash App. They're big multi-billion dollar companies. It's not just like Coinbase being the only place to buy Bitcoin when it's a relatively fresh thing. It's like, wait a minute, PayPal is letting me buy this? I've trusted PayPal since 20 years I've been with PayPal. Yeah, if they're doing it, I'll just put I'll buy some Bitcoin. You know, they've made this an impulse buy thing while the hype is at all-time highs, while the information is at all-time highs. The barrier of entry is at all-time lows. That is a perfect storm for Bitcoin to skyrocket. It's a perfect storm. And I've been talking about this. You can go back to my videos where I literally put as a title, why I disagree with Peter Schiff on Bitcoin. And he actually commented on one of them. And ironically enough, Peter Schiff commented on one of my videos. If you go back to that video that I did on Bitcoin, and I think it was like the second one, there's like a thumbnail with a Bitcoin in the center and me and Peter Schiff on both sides, even though he wasn't in it, but he's in the thumbnail, you know. But he commented on that and said, you know, good luck with your channel or something. I hope it, and in the end, it does better than Bitcoin. And both the channel and Bitcoin from that level, like 5x'd. So it came to reality. So thank you for putting that into the universe, Peter Schiff. Everybody can go back and look at that comment on that video. But both the channel 5x'd and Bitcoin from that point 5x. Maybe the channel actually outpaced Bitcoin. He said in the end, I hope your channel does better than Bitcoin. I think my channel might have done better on a percentage basis of how many subscribers grew since that comment, in relative to Bitcoin's growth, but they both grew tremendously. So thank you for putting that in the universe, Peter Schiff. Thank you. I appreciate it. But sorry. I had to gloat a little bit there, guys. Had to gloat a little bit. But much respect to Peter Schiff. Yes, I respect Peter Schiff. I respect him. And I appreciated him going and making that comment. But, you know, maybe he put it in the universe, so it happened that way. But overall, the main things I wanted to talk about in this video was not only that it's a great thing that they have done with Tesla and now many will follow suit. I wanted to talk about also that the barrier of entry into Bitcoin now is at all-time lows, while the hype and the information is at all-time highs. And I think everybody, all the 500 people in this live feed right now, I appreciate you thank you for being here. I think we can all agree that the barrier of entry is at all-time lows with Bitcoin. It is very easy to get into Bitcoin right now. I think we can all agree in the live feed that Bitcoin has never been easier to purchase, whether you're buying it with Coinbase or Gemini or Cash App or PayPal, or, you know, there's so many different ways and avenues to buy Bitcoin now. The barrier of entry, we all can agree, is at all-time lows. And we can all agree that the hype and the information is at all-time highs. So that's a very interesting combination there. That's a very interesting combination. You're talking about it more than ever before. And it's easier than ever before to get into it. And that was like, even back then I was talking about these same exact points. If you can go and watch those videos, that's what I love so much about YouTube, is it's documented. I'm not deleting any videos. They're all up there. They're documented. You can go back and watch them and check the timestamp under the description. But that is a perfect storm. And now with PayPal, you know, PayPal accepting Bitcoin Cash, all these things, and you can buy it on there. Now, to see Tesla do what they did and all this, if you think other companies are not going to follow suit, what happens if tomorrow, just ask yourself this, what happens tomorrow if Amazon starts accepting Bitcoin? What happens? What happens to Bitcoin? You know, Amazon says, yeah, we're accepting Bitcoin on Amazon now. What happens then? It's like, wait a minute. Wait, whoa, what? You see Amazon getting in there. You get Apple in there. You get them in there. And keep in mind, Tesla is no small fry. They are almost $1 trillion company right now. This is not a small company. You know, they're certainly in the top companies of the United States. So Tesla is not exactly some penny stock getting into Bitcoin. This is a company that's nearly valued at $1 trillion itself getting into Bitcoin. Yeah, other companies see that. Yeah, they're likely going to follow suit. And I can't say for sure. Again, my videos are just financial education based on my opinion, which could be wrong. So everything I say in here is not to be taken as fact or advice. I'm not a Series 7. I'm not a financial advisor. But I think it would be foolish to think that other companies are not looking at this decision close. But in addition to this Bitcoin, why not accumulate a material that you need at Tesla? Why not accumulate a material that you're actually using in your product that is getting more and more scarce by the day? Why would you not do that? Even the people that are major Bitcoin bulls and are against precious metals, or they're usually Bitcoin bulls, if they're against precious metals, they're against gold. But they're usually not against silver. I haven't really seen too many people in Bitcoin that say silver is a bad idea. I haven't seen pretty much anybody in general that thinks silver is a bad idea. I think everybody, the consensus is, yeah, silver's going to go up. If you're opposed to silver, it's only because you think Bitcoin will go up more in the near term. You think that the return on investment will be greater in a different place. But most people that bring up silver go, yeah, it's going to go up. I believe it's going to go up. So if most people feel that way and the actual market is that way, where the demand is exceeding the supply, it would make a ton of sense to just accumulate silver. Accumulate silver. What do you guys think? What do you guys think in the live feed? I'm looking at the comments now. I've been rambling for a while. Everybody, if you want to smash that like button, I'd really appreciate it. If you agree with this information and you want it to get out to more people, maybe even Papa Musk himself, because he did buy Bitcoin. You know, he didn't buy any Dogecoin, but he bought Bitcoin. Maybe he listened to small YouTubers. Maybe he listened to Michael Saylor, who's not a small YouTuber. He's a big, big player in all business, but maybe he was listening. Or obviously, it seems he was listening. He bought Bitcoin. He bought 1.5 billion. So maybe if we all smash that like button, Nespresso, silver, platinum, Bitcoin. Nicholas, I know which Nicholas that is. He bought me an Nespresso machine. That's my buddy. I used that Nespresso machine prior to this video. I got a nice caffeine rush in me to do this video. So thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick. That's my boy. Great guy. Appreciate that, Nick. But that's how I feel about this situation here. It's a great idea to be in industrial metals, not only in an industrial metal, but an industrial metal that you are using at your company. You are using this industrial metal, and you need this industrial metal to deploy solar panels in bulk. You need it. Why not accumulate it? Why not? Don't play. I mean, gold is great. I agree. Gold, I think it's going to be a hedge for a while. It'll probably go up. But silver, the ROI on silver has outpaced gold's ROI, and it is getting more and more scarce. It is far more rare above ground than gold is. I think there's that Kitco interview recently where they talked about Tesla buying gold. It's like, no. Tesla, stick to Bitcoin. And if you do get into metals, buy the metals that you need. I don't make anything off of saying, hey, buy lithium for your batteries, buy cobalt, buy the materials that you actually need, Tesla, and accumulate them in a bank or a vault or whatever you need to keep these metals. I'd imagine like cobalt and lithium and stuff, you don't need to be too crazy about how you keep it, but build a vault somewhere. You're pretty good at building stuff. Build a vault and put a bunch of silver in it. Seems like a pretty smart move. Or have a depository that holds your silver that you need for your materials. Seems like a very, very, very smart move to do if you're in Tesla. So everybody that smashes that like button, maybe we can get this information out to Papa Musk. Maybe he does do this. You never know. It's possible. If my channel could go from where it went to where it is now, anything's really possible in this crazy internet world of ours. So all the silver squirrels in the live feed, please do smash that like button, because maybe, just maybe, if this video can, like the last one I did, got, I believe, 10,000 views. So if this one gets, the same amount of views, maybe it does show up. Maybe Elon Musk does see it. And he thinks to himself, that kid, he beat me up for talking about Doge as much as I did, but he's right about silver. Maybe he does see that. And maybe, just maybe, for all the people that are, still in Dogecoin or whatever, maybe that you guys should, talk to Elon yourselves and say, hey, we want you to go into Dogecoin too with your treasury. Maybe you should reach out to him and say, hey, why did you only buy Bitcoin and no Dogecoin? What about us? My whole argument against Dogecoin, to finally bring that up again, is there are better alternatives to Dogecoin. There's people out there that are saying, oh, you're lying. There is a cap. It's 5% a year, or, whatever the cap they can do. No, there isn't a cap, because they can inflate it. They can add more to it year over year. And yeah, it might take 20 years or 25 years for it to double, but they can inflate the coin. That's the whole point. Litecoin is a way better choice than Dogecoin. And I don't even really like Litecoin. So if this goes back to Michael, this is a really good point about what Michael Saylor says. Michael Saylor said something really interesting when he was asked, and it was just brilliant. It really struck me the way he said this. He goes, this interviewer asked Michael Saylor, who is one of the most convinced individuals on Bitcoin around, asked Michael Saylor and said, hey, what would it take for you to sell your Bitcoin? Michael, what would it take for you to sell it, Mr. Saylor? Michael Saylor responded with probably the most brilliant line I've ever heard in regards to the evolution of money. He goes, when something is better. When something is better. And what did he mean by that? He didn't mean like I want to sell my Bitcoin tomorrow because there's something better out there. And this relates to the Dogecoin thing. If you're riding a bicycle down the street and cars aren't invented yet, the bike is the best thing. The bike is the fastest thing, right? If you're riding a bike down the street and, you know, there's no cars passing you by and, you know, you're way faster than running, you're riding a bike. Yeah, that's going to be the best thing at the time. But then you see a car driving by and you go, oh, whoa, yeah, that Model T right there, that's better. Let's hop in the car. That's better, right? So that's what he meant by when something better comes out. Then when you're in that car, you might see an electric car come up next to you, a Tesla, and go, wow, that's better. And then there might be a thing with the energy in regards, okay, well, if you get the energy from coal anyway, so you're not really helping the environment with the Tesla. Well, the technology is better, so I'm still going to be in my Tesla. Well, then you have solar panels, right? Now that's better than the current way of getting energy. Solar panels is better than the coal. It's better for the environment. It makes much more sense. There's way more room to get there. The sun makes quite a bit of energy, way more than coal ever could. So capturing that energy seems like a smart move. But the whole point, not to go too overboard with it, is whenever something's better, and right now there's nothing better than Bitcoin. Right now, for an instrument to use for our monetary system, there's nothing more secure on a blockchain. There isn't a more secure blockchain than Bitcoin. It's the largest blockchain. It's the most used blockchain. It has the most miners to support that blockchain. There isn't something better than it. And that's Michael Saylor's whole point. So when it comes back to Dogecoin, you got to ask yourself, is there something better than this coin? What is this coin here to do? Well, it was created as a complete joke. Now, the people that are bullish on it say, yeah, it was created as a joke, but it's the people's coin. It's only a few pennies. No, it's $10 billion. It's got a market cap of $10 billion. You might see 8 pennies, but you have to look at the overall market cap. You can make Bitcoin 8 pennies, but you'd have to divide. Actually, you can't because there's 21 million of them. It's finite. But you could make a random coin, 100,000, or you can make it a 1 penny. It just depends on how many shares of that coin, how many coins you have in the supply. So it doesn't matter if it's 8 pennies. It matters what the market cap is of that coin. And the market cap is very high. It shouldn't be at 10 billion for this coin. But what you have to ask yourself even further is there a coin out there that does the same thing and does it better with more of a system in place there, a better blockchain in place? There is. Litecoin. It operates similarly to Litecoin, but Litecoin is better and actually capped. So you have nothing. You're with Dogecoin, you are trying to pitch that your bicycle is faster than a car. And it's not. It's not at all. That's exactly what you are trying to do with Dogecoin. You are trying to pitch that your bicycle is faster than a train even with Bitcoin. It's not. It's a gimmick. And it's a distraction from what is actually happening. And so that's the best way I could put it with how I feel about Dogecoin. There is better alternatives. There is Ethereum, which is programmable money that isn't hard capped. It's similar to Dogecoin. So they say, oh, well, we need something that can be diluted so we can keep using it as currency and quick. That's what Litecoin and Ethereum is for. You already have the top 3 coins in play for that. That's why Bitcoin is number 1 as the storage of wealth. Then you have Ethereum as your programmable money. And then you have Litecoin for money that can be moved quickly. Like these already exist and they're better. So you're basically just saying like, oh, my bicycle is faster than your car. And because, people's money, Doge, it makes no sense. Makes no sense. You know, some people say Doge take on. No, it's not. You got better alternatives. That's the best possible. I mean, I came up with that off the top of my head right now. That's the best possible way to phrase it, is by kind of replicating what Michael Saylor says about why what would it take for him to sell his Bitcoin, is something that was better to come out. Something that was better to come out. And right now, there's nothing even close to as good as Bitcoin to store and preserve capital. And now that more companies are getting into it, Michael Saylor is really he's going to go down as one of the pioneers, because he actually looked at the situation here, and rather than just being bullish about Bitcoin and saying, hey, I'm bullish about Bitcoin, like Chamath Palihapitiya and, you know, a lot of the billionaires, which I have great respect for, instead of just being bullish on the coin, he actively pursued other company CEOs and got together all of these other companies' CEOs to convert treasuries into Bitcoin. That is some pioneer stuff. That's more than just being bullish. He is essentially changing the monetary system by getting these large companies interested into Bitcoin. So bravo, Michael Saylor. Bravo. And Michael Saylor himself is anti-gold, right? I think if you actually pitch to Michael Saylor right now, who probably has Elon Musk's ear, if you pitch this individual who is anti-gold, you know, hey, we think it'd be a good idea for Tesla to buy silver because they need it for materials. It's very scarce. It's a lot more rare than gold. And we think it's consistently going to go up in price. It's a good idea in addition to the Bitcoin. I think Michael Saylor himself would agree with that. I'm going to just make a guess on that. And I think Michael Saylor, although he is opposed to gold, I think he would agree that it is a very logical and sensible choice for Tesla to buy a large position in silver, in AG. I think he would agree with that. And maybe I'm crazy, you know? Maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I genuinely feel. But let's get to some comments. I've been talking for a long time. Let's get to some comments. Everybody, if you could smash that like button and get this video to reach out to more people. I know I've said it a bunch of times, and I know it's like, he says it, but I'm not really going to do it because it's annoying. You just keep saying it. But if you could, maybe this information could get out to Elon Musk. Maybe if this video goes semi-viral or somewhat gets out to more people, if we share this video, if more people like this video, maybe he does see it. Maybe Michael Saylor does see it. You know, Peter Schiff has seen my videos in the past. Obviously, he made a comment that didn't age very well, but he did make a comment. And so it's like, I never thought I could reach out to Peter Schiff, guy with 500,000 subscribers, has been all over the place. You know, it's extremely popular guy. I can't believe he saw my channel, my little channel, you know? So before I would have thought it was crazy to be able to reach out to Elon Musk, but right now, you know, anything's possible with the internet. With all of the silver squirrels in here, you know, anything's possible with us silver squirrels. You never know what a silver squirrel can do. But if we all smash that like button, would really appreciate it. Would really, really appreciate it, because we can reach out to more people. And we just bumped up to 230 likes. So everybody that's hitting that like button, I appreciate you, because we might get more viewers in here because of that. And this video might reach out to more people. Maybe even reaches out to Michael Saylor. Maybe even reaches out to Elon Musk. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to talk with Michael Saylor, to have an interview with him, to do a Zoom call or something here on YouTube? That would be just amazing. That would be amazing. I mean, honestly, that would be, if I could put that in the universe, I would love to talk with Michael Saylor about silver. You know, I would love to be able to talk with him, because he's anti-gold. He's not anti-silver. He hasn't said he's anti-platinum, but everybody that follows my channel knows that my top 2 metal holdings has been silver and platinum. That's my top 2. Gold was never my top metal holding. But I think if you pitched this idea to Michael Saylor and said, hey, we think it's a good idea for Tesla to get silver, I think he would agree. I think he would agree with that. And I think he goes, oh, okay, well, let's talk to them about how much silver they plan to use in the next 5 years. Okay, well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense for them to buy silver with this treasury money, especially with them printing dollars. So I might not be able to convince Tesla to buy, you know, $10 billion of Bitcoin, but certainly I think I could convince them to buy, you know, a few billion of silver in addition to the Bitcoin. So if this could get to Michael Saylor, if we could get this video out there into the ether of the internet, crazier things have happened. I hear this one YouTuber that had like 1,000, 2,000 subscribers jumped it up to 12,000 in like less than a week or a week and a half. So anything can happen. And by the way, thank you all so much for all the support. It's just been insane how much support I've been getting, even against the crazy Doge crowd. Even against the Doge crowd, they're a strong bunch. Doge crowd is you got to give them credit. They're a strong bunch. They got some serious numbers, when it comes to people that are for Dogecoin, because I was making serious points about it, and it ended up happening. Tesla didn't buy Dogecoin. They ended up buying Bitcoin. And we had talked about that in that live stream, that they weren't very happy about me talking about it in the way I did. But hang on, Tao Jones, I appreciate the super chat. I don't want to ever miss a super chat. I really appreciate you doing that. How about people just decide for themselves if they want Doge or not? There are benefits that you may not consider. Transaction fees form an oligarchy, for example. I mean, Tao, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. I happen to think there are better choices than Dogecoin for the exact things that Dogecoin does. I think there are far better choices, namely Litecoin. It operates similarly. It says it in the description that it operates similarly to Litecoin, except Litecoin is hard capped. So, and an uncapped coin would be Ethereum, which is way stronger of a network, has way more adoption on its mining system. See, what most people don't realize is people aren't really mining Dogecoin. It's just I believe it was already, all the coins are already out there. I mean, it's quite a diluted coin off the bat, but you need a mining network to support your blockchain. You don't have a mining network to support your blockchain, to support the transactions that you're talking about. Transaction fees, that's how you reward the miners. Miners aren't going to mine for nothing. The system isn't going to be there for nothing. You have to have a system in place. You have to have a system in place to support the blockchain. Like, that's why Bitcoin is so elegant. That's why I said, I oppose Peter Schiff's argument that there is nothing to Bitcoin. I beg to differ, because there is a whole system there. There is an entire network in place of miners to support the transactions. So no, it's not true to say that there's nothing there with Bitcoin. It's not true. There is a huge network there with miners everywhere that all dispersed around the globe. Maybe they're more concentrated in certain spots, but they are dispersed and decentralized and getting paid individually for how much mining they do. So once all 21 million coins are mined, it's not like they turn off their computers. No, they're mining from the fees to move Bitcoin from place to place. Now, maybe Bitcoin isn't the perfect instrument to be buying your coffee with. Maybe it's not the perfect instrument for that, but for large purchases, for something that you're moving large amounts of money for, the network needs to be in place to do that. That needs to be trusted and tested over many years to be an established blockchain like this. So you can't just poof a coin out of anywhere to replace Bitcoin for what Bitcoin is. Yeah, Bitcoin is more of a storage of value, but there are better alternatives, namely Litecoin and Ethereum, when it comes to moving money faster, or having money, that has a smart contract on it and is programmable money. You have with Ethereum. It just seems foolish to think that you have, not even a bicycle. You have a skateboard and you think you can go faster or at a better rate than a car. It's like, no, you don't. You got a skateboard. You got a skateboard and you're trying to compete with a Tesla. No, you're not. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it's cute and all, but no, it's not the way it's going to work. And I think over time, I was talking about Dogecoin being a bad move back when Dogecoin was 8 cents? Where is it at now? Like 7 cents or something? But maybe it goes up over the next month. Who knows? But I think over the long haul, you can tell when I hear people talking about they want to dump it. They want to dump it. Their goal is to make a quick buck. Guys who are buying Bitcoin are in it for the long haul. Most of them, it seems like, that are billionaires, they're in it for the long haul. They're in it to put 1.5 billion in the treasury. They're not looking to buy it and sell it on a quick gain. If you want quick money, it doesn't usually end well. Quick money it doesn't happen that way. There's a process to making money. And honestly, this whole pumping thing, I think it's foolish. But that's my personal opinion. I told everybody on my channel, I'll never change who I am. I'll always tell it how I genuinely feel. And I'm not going to sway from that. This whole pumping thing, it's like, this is what happened with GameStop. Look at what's happening with GameStop. It's the same thing. Had that water in my hand for a good 10 minutes right there. Never actually took a sip. But what happened in GameStop is everybody said, hey, I got diamond hands. You know, we have diamond hands. We got silver hands around here. All the silver squirrels, we got silver hands. But a lot of people were saying we got diamond hands. And it was a game of Indiana Jones. You know, it was a game of Indiana Jones. You had hands out there with a diamond in the center, and it was just who has the biggest position in GME and wants to grab that diamond and run away. You know, that's what it was, diamond hands. It wasn't like their hands were made out of diamond. They had a diamond in the center, and it was who can grab that diamond and run. And that's what happened. You got Dave Portnoy who was pumping in, and he'd sold out on you guys. Everybody sold out. And then they took the diamond and split and left you at 50 a share. That's what happened with GameStop, and that's what's inevitably going to happen with Dogecoin, in my personal opinion, because you're going to get people that want a quick buck, think that they can make a quick buck, and it never works out that way. It never works out the way where you think you're going to get a quick buck, you think it's going to be easy money, and then all of a sudden the hatch door drops out and you get dropped. You know, that's what happens. And so I have nothing but the truth from my heart to say about that situation there. And I know people aren't happy about it. I know I'll get downvotes about it. I know they're probably, you know, subscribed and wanting to downvote my videos for talking bad about Dogecoin, because they are a strong bunch. I give them credit. They're a strong bunch. But I can just tell you that in the cryptocurrency space, there's really like less than 5 clear winners. There isn't that many of them. We'll say less than 10. We'll put it out that far. But there's no need with all of the altcoins. There is no need for a Dogecoin. It doesn't satisfy anything that another coin doesn't do better than the Dogecoin. So I'm not. It's the truth, you know. So it is what it is. I'm sorry, guys, but you have a skateboard and there's fully equipped Teslas out there. You know, it's not a fair environment for you to try to thrive with the Dogecoin thing. Bro, you are talking crazy. I just made 5% in this chat. And that's exactly why I'm talking about it. Exactly that individual. Because he had to sell. Don't forget, if anybody's bragging about making a profit, if I brag to you about making a profit on Bitcoin and say, yeah, I made $100,000 off Bitcoin in the past year. You know, I made $100,000. I've been buying Bitcoin since 7,000, 6,000. Now it's almost 50,000. I've made 100,000 plus on Bitcoin. I haven't. Because I haven't sold it. I haven't sold it. I have X amount of Bitcoin. That's what I have. Right? But if I brag that I made money on it, that means I did sell it. That means I did dump it on somebody else. That means I didn't have diamond. I grabbed the diamond and split. If somebody is bragging about making money, they sold. So they are essentially making a mockery of themselves. They are bragging about dumping a position on you and saying, oh, you're foolish because you didn't buy like me and I sold out on you. Ha ha ha. Like, do you not understand the way gains work? Like, do you not get it? That's how it happens. You sell out, you declare a profit, and you dump it on somebody. That's what happens. So yeah, I mean, I'm not bragging about how much money I've made on Bitcoin. Technically, I've made a lot. Technically, you know, my net worth has gone up a lot, but I haven't sold any. I haven't declared that gain. I haven't sold it. I've held it. You know, Michael Saylor's made a ton of money on Bitcoin, but he hasn't sold it. He's sitting on it. He has it. He owns the Bitcoin. So he doesn't say, I made all this money on Bitcoin. He says, it's sitting there. I have this many Bitcoin and it's sitting there. Once you start bragging about how much money you make, you're exposing that it's a pump and dump. You're exposing that all the people that made money on GameStop, what about the ones that got dumped on that bought at 200 for you to sell at 250? What about those people? You know, it's like such like obvious, like blatantly obvious. Like I hate to be so like sarcastic or like serious about it, but it's like it's a mockery. It makes a mockery of the crypto space to say, oh, I made X amount on Dogecoin. You don't know what you're talking about because I made this much money on Dogecoin. No, you dumped it on somebody and that's how you made money. You declared a gain and you dumped it on somebody because it wasn't something worth holding. Mic drop. That's it. So, I mean, I've had enough of the whole Dogecoin argument, you know. It's a pump and dump. And whoever's bragging about making money dumped it. and it's not worthy of holding. Bitcoin, all the people that are trading every day and going in the technicals and everything, they never make as much money as the people that just sit on their hands. Sit on their hands and they buy something that they genuinely believe in. I made the most money when I just sat on my hands on silver. And people can say, oh, silver only doubled, it only doubled. Well, a double on a large amount of money is different than a 10x on a small amount of money. If you 10x your money from 1,000 to 10,000, but I sat on $1 million and doubled $1 million, who did a better job? I just told this to a buddy of mine when he was texting me something. He's like, I told you about this play. I told you about this play. But the truth is, what it really comes down to, and this is what I told him, what matters is when you truly believe in something, like Michael Saylor believes in, Bitcoin, it's what really matters the most is conviction. How much conviction did you have? That's how you make the most money. Conviction. They get that, the dogecoin crowd and the GME crowd and the pumping crowd, they forget the term conviction. If you buy something because you are very, very sure about it, you have done your research, you have planned it out for maybe even years, at least months of thinking this over and going, I have looked at every angle of the silver market, I have studied it intensely, and I think it's going up. Okay, I am willing to park a position like $1 million on it, because I genuinely am convicted. I have conviction on this. That is how you put $1 million on something and you double $1 million. And then you got 2 million. So you made $1 million profit by only 100% gain. But the person who didn't have conviction and was just part of a pumper crowd might have made 10x and 10x'd 1,000 to 10,000. But would you rather have been the person that doubled $1 million? Who made more money? The person with conviction about a 10% gain or 100% gain, or the person who just wanted a quick pump and dump? They took more risk and they made less money because they didn't have conviction. They just decided to take a gamble. And that's the truth, That's the truth. You can say even 1,000x, you could have 1,000x return, and you have, start with $500, have 1,000x return, make it into 50 grand, right? Yeah, it's 50 grand. The person who had 100,000 and had conviction about their trade and turned it one time 100%, they made more money with less risk. Like I don't buy that whole pump and dump thing. I would rather put my money in something that I have done my research on and have an educated thesis on, an educated, investment, than to just take a guess and a gander at something, because I'm not into making small money like that. That doesn't get me excited. What gets me excited is making 10% on 100 grand in a month. That gets me excited. What doesn't get me excited is somebody saying, this is going to go to the moon. I'm going to make 1,000% on it. Am I going to put 100 grand of capital on the line for something that is a complete anomaly? Am I going to really have conviction on that trade? That's the key word I really want to drive home, is conviction. You can't put big money, like guys who are in real estate, they put big money on a real estate deal because they have conviction about what they're doing with their capital. So it's not about, oh, do I think this is going to make me the most money possible in the shortest duration of time? No, it's having conviction to put a lot of money on something, But also, Ron P, who says high risk equals high reward. Yeah, high risk also means high risk. So it's a big difference. It's a big, big difference when you're taking risk like that. You can lose everything quick. That's why it's something like, I believe it's 90% of options trades expire worthless. Somewhere in that range. I think it's about 90% expire worthless. These are numbers that are it's the truth, And I haven't heard too many people talking about the difference between conviction on a large amount of money versus risk on a smaller amount of money. Or, if you take a big risk, let's just put the number at 100,000, someone noticed the Daytona. Right on, Brennan. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's a beauty. And you also knew it was white gold. How'd you know it was white gold? Didn't know it's not a steel. It's a white gold. Nice. Good eye, Brandon. I appreciate that, man. He says, love your Rolex Daytona white gold. I'll have to pay I'll have to pay way over retail because I can't find anywhere a nice investment for enjoyment. It's true. And this is a full set. It's a full set white gold Rolex. Maybe you can shoot me a DM about it. But it is I wear kind of wear inventory and stuff, so it's that's why I can go watch to watch. But Tal Jones also said, without goods and services exchange, crypto cannot pretend to be an economic commodity. Hoarding is not productive, neither is hoarding silver or gold or Bitcoin. Just my 2 cents. Now, let me repeat that. Without goods and services exchanged, crypto cannot pretend to be an economic commodity. Hoarding it is not productive, neither is hoarding silver or gold or Bitcoin. Just my 2 cents. Tal Jones. I'm going to tell you why I disagree with that in one sentence. What does hoarding dollars do? So Tal Jones, I'll wait for your reply on that. But it's a good question. It's a good point. It says, without goods and services exchanged, crypto cannot pretend to be an economic commodity. Hoarding it is not productive. Is hoarding dollars productive? See, so the counter is very easy on that. It's extremely easy. So, I mean, that argument it doesn't hold any water. Hoarding crypto is non-productive. Was hoarding dollars productive? Because hoarding Bitcoin for me was very productive. It's worth quite a bit more, and I can actually trade my Bitcoin for metals if I want. I could trade my Bitcoin for, I believe it was Chamath Palihapitiya that just said he bought, like, I think it's like 1.5 or like some huge figure of money. He bought land somewhere. If you look at Chamath Palihapitiya, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Chamath Palihapitiya, great guy. One of my favorite investors, said, I just bought this land in Lake Tahoe or something like that with Bitcoin. So, I mean, there's no argument against that saying, okay, well, hoarding Bitcoin is a bad idea. Well, what's hoarding dollars? What's hoarding dollars like? Is hoarding silver is a bad idea? What did the dollar do in the past year? Is hoarding money in a bank that you don't even own the money and they're just playing with that money against you? Is that a better idea? Where's the better place to hoard your money? You know, this is also just for everybody in the live feed, everybody that's been supporting my page and everything. We're almost at 300 likes. We're at 282 likes. If we can get that at 300, I'd really appreciate it, guys. Let's get this video out to more people. But all of the people in the live feed here, if you are opposed to an argument I'm making, if you think that it's a bad idea for Tesla to buy silver, for example, please document your thesis on that. Like, document it and put it in the comments like that. I'm not hiding from them. That guy did a super chat for $10, and I really appreciate the $10. But and you make a point that a lot of people get on, you know, but that point doesn't hold any water or weight for me. I don't believe that makes any sense, because hoarding dollars is not productive. You don't have choices. Like, what are your choices on what to, where to store your energy, your money, your net worth? What's the better place to hoard it? Dollars? Like, no. So that doesn't make very much sense to me. But again, if you have a good argument and that is a good argument, it's a good point that a lot of people think, you know, and so I am not, opposed to anybody making a counter to my arguments. And it actually makes it for a great conversation to be able to, and that's the problem we have in society today. People don't want to talk with each other that have opposing views. They just only get in their own little corridor of people that have the same views as them. You know, I'm more than open to people that have different views to me. I mean, that's how we learn from each other. But yeah, that would be my argument against that, is what was the other option to hoard? You know, I would much rather hoard metal. You know, I'd much rather hoard Bitcoin than I would hoard dollars that are being diluted. At least Bitcoin can't get diluted. Matter of fact, they get anti-diluted. You know, they deflate. Bitcoin is a deflationary asset. It's like, what? You have a deflationary asset? That's crazy that exists. It's like hope. It's like finally hope in a monetary instrument. It's a beautiful thing. You know, so what alts do I like? None of them. James Fraser, none of them. And the reason I don't like any of them is I don't see any adoption yet. I waited on the sidelines with Bitcoin. Like I had an opportunity to buy a bunch of Bitcoin at 3,000. And when I started buying Bitcoin with conviction, and this is, you can actually go back to the video in July I made about how Peter Schiff was wrong about Bitcoin, or in my opinion, he was wrong. Now he's very wrong. But the reason I started making those videos is because I finally saw something. And the big underlying thing for me was institutions getting involved, like the Grayscale Trust. And then also was the biggest thing was PayPal getting involved and Cash App getting involved. That was when I really started buying Bitcoin with conviction, is when I saw PayPal jumping in. Mainly when I saw PayPal jumping in. This was back when Bitcoin, I believe at that time, was like 7 or 8. Might have been around 9, 10. But when PayPal got in, that's when my first buys in Bitcoin was around 6, 7 range. Then my next big buy was around 10, and then another big buy around 16, 17. And I made videos literally the day after, I had been looking at Bitcoin more closely. So that's how I feel about Bitcoin. Is I have to, and why I say that is with altcoins, you have to understand that they're not really getting adopted for anything. If you told me tomorrow that Amazon was accepting Dogecoin or whatever, or this chain or PayPal or somebody's accepting Dogecoin, I'd have more eyeballs on it, and I go, oh, interesting. There's actually some adoption going on here, but I don't see any of that. That's how I feel. And Ron P, I appreciate you doing the super chat, man. And I will announce it whenever someone does a super chat. I'll make sure I get to that. I won't miss out on it. And I really do appreciate the super chats. It actually adds up and it really helps. So thank you for that. Ron P says, one day you will say I could have bought Doge for 6 cents. If that's, you know what? Just like I am sticking it to Peter Schiff, and I have a lot of respect for Peter Schiff. I'm a libertarian myself. I love everything that he thinks in regards to his economic policies. And if Peter Schiff ran for president, I would vote for Peter Schiff in a heartbeat. I really would, because I think he understands economics very well, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. However, I do think he's very wrong about Bitcoin, and I've been very vocal about that. And I have been trying to get him to do a video or something, or do some sort of interview. I'm a smaller channel, so everybody that wants to subscribe to my channel, it helps me get that much closer to having bigger interviews on this channel. And I am set up for it. I'm totally set up for it, where I could do an actual interview from right here and interview with people. I've been learning how to use the streaming software so that I can actually do a person-to-person interview with somebody like that. So everybody that subscribes to this channel, everybody that likes the videos, that is the ultimate goal, is to get people on here to talk about silver, to talk about Bitcoin, and to kind of bring this whole possibility of new monetary systems to the mainstream. That's the goal of this channel. So everybody that helps with that, I really appreciate you being part of this community. If you click the red subscribe down below, it's either in this video in a corner or down below the red subscribe button. It's totally free to do that. There's no strings attached. It's free to click the subscribe button. And after you click the subscribe button, you can click the bell afterwards, and it'll notify you every time I go live. Like I go live without telling anybody I'm going live. I just randomly decide to do it. This was an impulsive one as well. So if you want to be subscribed to this channel, would really appreciate it if you click that red subscribe down below and the bell afterwards, and would love to have you in the community. Totally free, no strings attached, totally up to you, but would love it if you click that red subscribe. For those of you that click the thumbs up, really does help get this video out there. So possibly Elon Musk could see this. So possibly Michael Saylor could see this, or Chamath Palihapitiya could see this video. You never know. One of my videos had like 90,000 views on it when I went live, and it's like, wait a minute. This is insane how the internet works like this. It's still like people are just so adamant about the Dogecoin thing. It's International Stack Interview. I think he's a pretty cool guy. I don't know if he'd put his face out there. He's one of the Hands channels, but he's actually a pretty cool guy. I've watched some of his videos. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but he'd have to show his face. If I did an interview, he'd have to show his face. I'll say that much. If we talked, you'd have to show it. I'd make that happen. But I can only get so excited about seeing Hands for that long of a period of time. It's just Hands, and just put yourself out there, bro. Doge will make him blow a fuse. The thing is, like, people that are like so thinking I missed out on Dogecoin, back to the argument about conviction. I bought silver with conviction in the teens. I have videos where I bought silver in the teens with conviction. I would much rather have a trade where I made 100% with a conviction where I put a bunch of money on it because I was very sure of it than to take a risk on Dogecoin. Even if I did get into Dogecoin, even if I was interested in buying Dogecoin, I would never risk more than like $1,000 to $10,000 in capital, max. Max. I would never buy with conviction because I don't have the same conviction that I have with Bitcoin or silver. So my upside in that is very, very limited by my lack of conviction in the trade. I'm not holding that for the long term. I don't believe in the technology. There is nothing there that gets me excited. With Tesla, the reason I made a lot on Tesla is because I had conviction about it. I knew that their product was better than other products on the road. With Bitcoin, I have conviction because I know there isn't a better cryptocurrency with a stronger blockchain or a better network. That's why I have conviction about that. I can't have conviction with Dogecoin. So my upside is limited tremendously because I am not going to risk that much capital. It's that simple, you know? It's really, really simple. And so I'm sorry that I don't believe in Doge, you know. I would much rather, you know, buy things with conviction that I believe in. You know, I would much rather you could turn my 10 grand into 100 grand, but I still would rather turn 300,000 or 500,000 into $1 million with silver, and that's not even close to a 10x return. It's like 100 to 200%. So I would rather get something with conviction that I know is limited, that I know is needed, that I know the demand exceeds the supply. I can actually get into that with conviction. I can't get into a risky pump and dump situation with conviction. I can't do it. So I'm really glad I brought up the term conviction, because the difference in making 100% with conviction about something is astronomically different than making a 10x return on something that was highly speculative that you couldn't buy with conviction. Big difference. And everybody gets caught up on that. And usually the people that brag the most are the ones that made a 10x return on like $300. They're usually the ones that you hear, you know, bragging from the skies that they made 10x. Oh, I made 1,000%. You with your Bitcoin and your silver, I made 1,000%. Where they turn like 300 to 3 grand or something like that. You know, it's like there's a big difference. There's a big difference. So I hope that helps some people out there. Even the people that are in the Doge crowd. Maybe I can convert you to a like from a dislike, because that's just how I feel. Maybe it makes sense to take a risky speculative play with Dogecoin, but it's not worthy of buying with conviction. Certainly, I think you can agree on that, you know? So maybe we can find some sort of middle ground there. Maybe it's okay for you to take your speculative play on that, but you can't certainly put all the money to your net worth on that. Personally, I'd be comfortable putting my entire net worth in silver because I believe in it that much. I would be comfortable doing that. But nobody can do that with Dogecoin, no matter how much conviction you have or how much you believe this is going to go up. I don't think you can do that with a clear mind, where you're not looking at your phone every second, nervous out of your mind. I could literally put my entire net worth in silver and just be calm and get fine sleep at night. That's how much conviction I have about silver and how much I think it is going to go up. Might not go up at the same pace as a very risky, reckless position, but I can do that and sleep at night. I don't think people can go all in on Dogecoin and sleep well at night. I really don't think they could. So that's my feeling on it. That's how I feel. Then do it live. You're just jabbering. I've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 ounces of silver in this live feed? What's that worth? You know, it's a pretty good amount of money in silver just in this live feed here. So I do that in the live feed. It is literally here in the live feed. They're real. This is a pretty cool one. Actually, this might be in the Facebook group later on. This is a pretty great bar. It's a Credit Suisse 100-ounce bar. I always dig these. These are a cool bar. But let's go ahead and get to some comments over here. Let's get to some more comments. Actually, you know what? With all this talk about Dogecoin, let's go over what Dogecoin is right now. Where's Dogecoin at? Let's see it. Dogecoin, it's at 7 cents or 0.07 cents 36. So 0.0736. It's down 10% from the high of the day. The high of the day was 8.2, so 8 cents, 2 with the extra decimal. Now it's down to 7.36. I would imagine that it just continues to go down. And look at Litecoin. Litecoin, its competitor, is at 190, up 11%, up 12, nearly 12%, 11.56% right now on Litecoin. It's up $19.80 on the same time that Dogecoin is down 10% from its high of the day. That's its competitor, is Litecoin, and it is far more capable than Dogecoin. So where are people putting their money? It would appear to me that in the same time that that's going down, they're putting it in Ethereum and Litecoin as a different alternative. Not saying I agree with Litecoin and Ethereum. I would much rather have my money parked in Bitcoin, where I can have conviction and have a large amount of it. But those are cars to the skateboard that Dogecoin is. I hate to break it to you, but that's the truth. It's not easy. It's not easy to tell people the truth when they're very, a lot of people in Dogecoin actually, what made me kind of bummed, like I feel bad, is a lot of them say, well, it's the people's coin because it's only 8 cents. Now it's 7 cents. It's only 7 cents. Well, no, it has a market cap of 10 billion. You might think that because something is 8 cents, it means it's valued at 8 cents. No, it is valued at 10 billion on its market cap. It's just distributed very heavily. So no, it's the same people that look at Tesla stock and go, wow, it's only at 300. Or it's only at 800, 300 to 800. That's not that big of a gain. 300 to 800. It's the same people that say something like that. And everybody that knows the stock market or has done any amount of research knows, no, it had a 5x stock split. It's the same people that have that argument with Dogecoin, that is the people's coin, that don't understand. They're like, wait a minute, 3 to 800, that's only like 200 something percent. That's not that big. It's not even 3x 300 to 800 on Tesla. No. See, that's not the way shares work. Shares, they get divided. So they did a 5x stock split. So it went from 300 really to 4,000. So when it's at 800 a share on Tesla, it's really at 4,000 because 8 times 5 is 40, right? So it's actually at 4,000. It went from 300 to 4,000. It had a 5x stock split, right? It divided itself by 5 to get to where it's at. So all of the people there, it's very sad to me how many of the Dogecoin crowd don't even understand the basic workings of a coin like that and how the distribution works. So yeah, you see 190 on a Litecoin is simply because there are less coins available. So you got to look at the market cap here, and the market cap makes no sense. The coin makes no sense. No, you would be surprised. Maybe some people know that. But you would be surprised how many comments I got on one of my videos talking about that. Like, it's only 8 pennies. Wait till it's $1. It's only 8 pennies. A large majority of these Dogecoin buyers don't even understand, that it's a $10 billion valuation. They think of it as 8 cents. And so a lot of them also say, oh, this brought me into cryptocurrency. We should be thanking Dogecoin. It brought me into cryptocurrency. Then great. I hope you didn't take too big of a risk with it. And I hope you just learned more about crypto because of it. I hope it taught you about fiat currency and how crazy it is with fiat currency. And I hope inevitably you understand that there are better alternatives to Dogecoin. And I hope that spreads. And I hope it doesn't have to spread through losses. Maybe it can stay flat at 7 cents, and people can learn with Dogecoin and then move their money into something that actually does make sense. When they see Bitcoin go to 100,000, when they see it go up, maybe they when they realize, oh, Tesla bought Bitcoin, they didn't buy Dogecoin. So maybe he was trolling us. Because he didn't buy any Dogecoin. He could have bought Dogecoin with his treasury, by the way. Just so you know, just so everybody in the Dogecoin community knows, Elon could have bought it with the treasury. He could have bought like 500 million or $1 billion of Dogecoin, but he didn't. Ironically enough, when Dogecoin raised its market cap from like 1 billion to 10 billion, when it had this crazy 10x jump or 6x or 7x jump or whatever, it raised itself from like 1 to 3 billion to 10 billion. And you might have had a lot of people sell their Bitcoin to buy Dogecoin. And maybe that liquefied enough of it in the market to acquire a $1.5 billion position in Bitcoin. So secretly, they're gobbling up Bitcoin while being a distraction of Dogecoin. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I don't know exactly how that happened, but it is fact that Tesla didn't buy Dogecoin. That is fact. So why didn't they? If he was the master of Dogecoin, if he was not a troll, you would think that he'd buy like just 1 million of it, just to sprinkle a little bit of Dogecoin in the treasury. You got 15, 20 billion in the treasury. Why don't you do something with it other than buy Bitcoin? Why don't you buy silver with it? But more importantly, if you've been pumping Dogecoin, why didn't you buy a little bit of Dogecoin with the treasury? Come on, man. Come on. You should have bought some Doge. But he didn't. He didn't, did he? He didn't. Daddy Musk did not buy Doge with the treasury. That's the truth. So don't be pointing your anger at me. Don't be hitting my dislike button. You can. It's open for you to do that. But go over to Elon Musk and talk to him, because we're silver squirrels around here. We're trying to pitch silver to Elon Musk. That silver's a good play. That's what we're doing around here. I support Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. I'm not a fan of the altcoins, including not just Doge, all the altcoins. I'm not a fan of all the altcoins. Until we see more adoption in them, I'm not a fan of them. I like Bitcoin. I understand the network's in place. I'm still a silver bug and a platinum bug first. Now my Bitcoin position's more than my platinum position, but it wasn't meant to be like that. But now it is. But I'm a metals bug first, and I'm still speculative about the crypto market. I'm not just somebody all in on the crypto market. I like Bitcoin because I've studied every inch of it that I can study, and I still am learning more after studying everything I can. And I like it. I think it's very elegant. I think the system is beautiful and has a very strong blockchain and a great network to move the Bitcoin around. And now being supported by PayPal and Cash App and now getting bought by Tesla, the snowball is growing with it. So I can buy Bitcoin with conviction. I like the trade. I like the trade, right? I don't like the trade of Dogecoin. So it is what it is. Can you use your hourglass? I use it in the beginning. It just ran out of time. We do these lives for a long time sometimes. I've been trying to limit them to like an hour, 2 hours, but sometimes we go live for a little bit longer than expected. But let's get to some more comments. I didn't miss any super chats or anything, right? If I missed your comment, if you go to my Instagram, you go to @RobSultan on Instagram. I actually knocked out like another 40 of them today. So I'm working from the bottom up. So I haven't gotten back to your DM yet. It's because I'm working from the bottom up. I got to be fair about it. The top down wouldn't be fair because the people have been waiting at the bottom. So I'm getting back to every single DM on my personal Instagram. And I also make some fun posts over there as well. That's exclusive from the YouTube, and I'm actually accessible there on the Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram @RobSultan on Instagram, if I missed your question over here, just shoot me a DM there and I will get back to it. Whether you follow me or not, I will still get back to your DM. Would appreciate a follow because I'm a small YouTuber. I'm a small Instagram guy, so I only have like 1,100 followers, but that's awesome. I think I started with I had like 100 something like a few weeks ago, so it's not bad growth. I appreciate everybody for coming over to the Instagram. It's the same exact name as YouTube, @RobSultan on Instagram, and you can shoot me a DM there, and I am more than happy to get back to every single DM. All the support I've been getting from the YouTube community. Really, really appreciate you all, and I'm happy to be there to talk with you directly. Again, I have a small Instagram account. I have a small YouTube page that's been growing tremendously, both of them, but small-time individual here. So it is actually me getting back to you in the DMs over there. If I missed your question, there's been a lot of comments. I will get back to you in a DM on my Instagram, @RobSultan on Instagram. Let me go through some of these, make sure there wasn't anything I missed. All right, I'm looking at the comments right now, so let me see if I can get a few comments, answer a few questions here. We can do a little bit of Q&A towards the end of this. Here we go, Paul. You don't have to put the same comment a million times. I see it. Can Bitcoin affect gold and silver? I think Bitcoin, and please don't do the spam thing. Please don't do the spam thing. Or otherwise I'll just ignore it. But Paul, if you do it one more time, I'm going to ignore it. No more of the spam thing. Come on, man. All right. Can Bitcoin affect gold and silver? Basically, yes. It is a decentralized asset, and it is the thing that the precious metals industry and guys like Peter Schiff need to talk about with Bitcoin going up like this is a huge audience of, youth, kids that are 18, 17, 16 that are very bored in class, are now learning. If you taught them, if you said, like, gave them a textbook, said, learn about fiat currency, learn about the gold standard, learn about these things. A kid in class would probably just be like, I don't want to learn about this. What is this money from, they outlawed gold in 1933 and they did this in 1971. Nixon dropped the gold standard. What's all this? And okay, I get it. We used to have $500 bills and gold and silver certificates, whatever. But because of Bitcoin, it's making this whole new audience passionate about the monetary system, passionate about understanding, like that whole meme of, Powell, the printer goes burr, that didn't exist without like Bitcoin really shedding light on how crazy the system that we currently have is. And all of the individuals that think Bitcoin is crazy, like, the system we got's crazy. The system we got is crazy. And the more youth that open their mind up to that and realize, oh, when I give the bank my money, they don't have my money. They use it against me. They use it in the stock market. They're giving out loans on my money. Like, they're just playing around with my money. It's like, what a sweet gig. What a sweet gig the bank's got. What a sweet gig. That's a sweet, sweet gig. Could you imagine? I'm trying to I'd like a business loan. I'd like $1 million business loan at 0.01%. I'd take a business loan at 6% annually if I could get it. I'd take a business loan at 8%. That'd be amazing. But we give our money for free, practically for free, to these banks. Get loans for free. That's what you got to realize. And I hope that more youth realize that when you give the bank your money, you are essentially giving, like, would you give your buddy $100 and expect, or $1,000 or whatever? Say you have 10 grand in your bank. Would you give someone 10 grand and expect nothing in return for holding that money for a year? Would you really? If I give somebody 10 grand, they better come back with 11. They better come back with 11 after a year. At 10% at a minimum. If I give you 10 grand, you better come back to me with 11 after a year. But you know what? The banks don't. We do that with the banks, but they just get a free loan from us. And if it was a different way around, if it was somebody that you gave 10 grand to as an IOU note, they're giving you, when you look at your digital screen on a commercial bank on your iPhone, and you pull up Chase app or Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatever it is, that money doesn't exist there. That money is a digital number, not on any blockchain or anything like that. You essentially gave them your money as a free loan. Or pennies on the dollar. Less than pennies on the dollar, not even 1%. So when you say pennies on the dollar, yeah. Pennies on the dollar is not even true. Pennies on the dollar is not even true. Like, oh, I made pennies on the dollar. That means at least 1%. 1 penny of a dollar is 1%. So you're not even making pennies on the dollar. So that saying doesn't even exist with the bank. They pay you pennies on the dollar. No, actually they pay you a fraction of a penny on a dollar. Not even a penny on a dollar. Not even 1% annually. These greedy people. Not even a penny on the dollar. Not even a penny on the dollar per year for you. Not even a penny. But we will give out your money unlimited on loans and make 12%. Give out, all these loans, and we'll make at least 5% on your money. No problem. And we'll do it multiple times. But for you who gave us the money, not even a penny on the dollar. Not even a 1 penny. That's the truth. You want to know how to take the power away from the bank is you don't give them your money for free. I want to go to the bank and be like, actually, tell you what, buddy. Got to use that term, buddy. Buddy really is the condescending term. Tell you what, buddy, I want 5% on my money. Oh, you're not going to give me 5%? Well, silver made me 100% in the last year. So I'll put it in silver. Thank you very much, JP, Mr. Diamond, JP Morgan. I'll tell you what, that's how I'll do it. you know? So it's like, it's so wrong, the system that we have. And the banks have been taking advantage of the population so heavily just because we use their little piece of plastic for their credit card and for the debit card and everything. That's why they get away with this, you know, just to get access to our money, you know? It's sickening. It's sickening. And it's crazy that what I'm describing right now isn't like some theory. It's actually what happens. You give them a free loan. They use that free loan to give out more loans that are valued at way more return annually. So they're giving out a loan at a minimum, I mean, a house loan or whatever loan you're getting, minimum of 4 to 10, 12%, whatever they're making on your money per year through one loan. But keep in mind, they can use your money multiple times. So they can actually make like 20% on your money by giving out 4 loans for 5% on your money. It's crazy. Say you give them 10 grand, they could give out on that money. They can legally give out $40,000 of loans on that 10,000 that you gave them. So they started with 10, but they made 5% on 4 separate $10,000 at 5%. So they actually make 20% on your 10,000 there based on how many loans they gave out against that money, because they have no limit on the amount of loans they can give. It's like, it's mind-boggling. And then if they fail, they're inevitably going to come to you with your diluted currency that they diluted in the first place to bail them out. This is information that the whole reason I ranted about this is because this information didn't exist. My videos didn't exist until I got inspired about this sector. I personally got inspired through precious metals about 5-6 years ago. I got inspired into precious metals, and I just, you know, everything happened from precious metals. Then Bitcoin came around, and it is inspiring a whole nother crowd that inspired, like how precious metals inspired me. Bitcoin is inspiring the youth to learn about these systems that are in play. So that's my little point about that. Try to get to a couple more comments here. Let's say I will end this live feed in like 10 more minutes or something. We'll go for another 10 minutes. It's not easy to do these live feeds, by the way, because who knows, if I say something crazy or something, it's live, you know? That's why a lot of people are afraid to do the live feed thing, because you got to be real in a live feed. You can't fake it in a live feed. That's why I enjoy doing these. It's fun, and you can actually talk to people in real time. Let me get to some more comments here. Silver at 28 after 3 million years. That's a snail movement compared to the alt crypto, bro. 3 million years. Is that how long altcoins have been around, Wall Street pickers? Because I don't think altcoins have been around for 3 million years to compare it against. What's the opinion on the Fed? What's your opinion on the Fed creating digital wallets for everyone? I think in that specific situation, because we know about Bitcoin, and because companies like Tesla buying Bitcoin, I think the idea, and you're talking about a CBDC, which is a central bank digital currency, a CBDC, which is basically just fiat digital. They can still inject as much digital money. They already really have CBDCs. Let's be honest. I mean, when they printed 3 trillion recently, they digitally injected it. They didn't print they can't print 3 trillion. They didn't print it into $100 bills. You know, it's like they digitally injected it. So we already kind of have CBDCs, and that's why Bitcoin exists. I mean, let's just take it apart for what it is. Like, we pretty much have that. What now? You call it a CBDC. The dollar is a CBDC. It already is a digitally, you know, made. It's more than 90% digital already. So the dollar really is a CBDC. And so if you're just basically saying, now we just want to fully digitalize it with no more cash, period, cashless society with the CBDC. But realistically, we already pretty much have that. When you're using your Venmos and you're using your Cash Apps and you're using your money digitally, and the money is digital already. You know, the dollar is a CBDC, pretty much. Just not literally, but you get the point. I think them pushing a CBDC, knowing that the system didn't work as long as it hasn't worked, and now knowing how much they are diluting this CBDC, I think it backfires and more people go into Bitcoin and precious metals. I think it backfires. That's how I feel about it. I mean, the dollar is already digital. I mean, there's no difference in the current dollar structure than there would be with the CBDC. I mean, it'd be the same thing. They can print as much as the CBDC as they want. They own the digital currency, and it'll just be the same thing as the dollar right now. I mean, yeah, I know Zane and I. It's hard to pay him any mind, um, but there's this. The thing is, it's like I wonder if it's like the same. That's the problem. Like the crowd with Dogecoin, I want to inform them so much. I want to be able to like give them real information for them to adapt. But it's just it seems that there's like a lot of immaturity and a lot of wanting quick money. So it's like I was that way. You know, with me, you could tell me fire's hot, but I have to literally go, ow, yeah. They weren't lying. The fire's hot, you know, like that's how I have to learn myself. So that's how some people have to learn, just like I have to learn. I had to learn that with like options trading and things. Sometimes you got to learn for yourself. MS platinum went to 3K to 700, but it went from 700 to 1200, baby. And it depends on when you got in on it, because I got in on it at 700, 800. So it all is relative. It's all relative to where you decided to get in and where you did your research. At 700, you really couldn't even mine platinum for like a profitable rate. So it didn't make like when it was hitting 700, it was like everybody that's in the industry knew it's like, okay, it can't go down really from here. You know, there's a reason when you have a platinum eagle versus a gold eagle, one of them's 100 and one of them's 50. Platinum eagle's valued at 100, and they denominated it in 100 for a reason. Double the denomination of gold. There's a reason for that. It's far more scarce. Scarce. I say scarce. Tomato. I'll get to a few more questions here. DG says, I think Rob is detached from reality of altcoins. This is just how you know, everybody in my live feed, if you could smash that like button, because I don't ignore people that are even opposed to me. I will get to everybody, and if you write out your argument, I'm even more happy to talk about it. So I think Rob is detached from the reality of altcoins. We who have millions with altcoins, so he's saying you have millions in altcoins, have been holding for years. It is not a pump and dump. My point is I can't buy an altcoin with conviction. At this point in my life, I mean, 6 years ago, when I didn't have 2 pennies to scratch together, you know, I would have taken more risk to get capital together. But at this point in my life, when I'm actually trying to make logical, sensible investments, I would much rather make a sensible investment that makes me 20% a year on a large amount of money than, you know, take a risk in an altcoin that I don't really believe in and it has no real adoption yet. You know, you're taking a big gamble. So that's how I feel about it. You know, I want to buy things that I can buy when I genuinely believe in it, and I can put a large amount of capital. Like I said, I could put my entire net worth in silver, and I have at times, you know, and I'd sleep well at night. I'd sleep fine because I have studied that market. I can't do that with an altcoin, and I don't really want to take a risk with my capital. My capital is too important to me right now for operating my company and for operating my personal investments. You know, I'm not willing to take risks on things that are, Ron P says, that's the change from a young investor to old investor. It's true. Ron P, it's true. Maybe we have the real Ron Paul in the live feed. You never know. But sounds like your stock grandpa. Hey, you can call me a grandpa as much as you want, but I'll tell you what, I have had some money and I have been dead broke living in my car. I like having some money. Not to say money buys happiness. I've always said this line kind of about we'll end it on that note in a way. Investing in yourself is first. Choose cheese. You are totally right. If I had to make an investment with 10 grand, if I had 10 grand to my name, I would live in my car and buy a bunch of books. That's how I would invest 10 grand. So like to the kids out there that are, going, I got 10 grand, I'm going to put it all on Doge, that's going to get me the easy money. It's not the way to go. You got 10 grand, invest in yourself first and foremost. You got 10 grand, go read some books. Go sit down in your car and read some books. It's not too expensive. Not those textbooks these colleges try to make you pay $300 for, not some fancy schmancy dorm room that you overpay for. Get yourself a cheap place to live or live out of your car and read some books with that 10 grand. Keep it. Read books. Buy an iPhone and learn some more with your iPhone. That's my personal opinion on it. That'd be the first place I would park my money if I had, less than 10 grand to start with. And I did have less than 10 grand, way less than 10 grand. Didn't even barely had 2 pennies to scratch together at one point in my life. So yeah, some people say that would be a great idea, but the best thing you could possibly do is invest in yourself, because say Doge, if you bought Doge at 8 and now you put your 10 grand to your net worth at 8 and it fell, down from 10 grand to 8 grand or something now because it fell down a bit from 8 cents to 7 cents. You're sitting there stressed out. And that was the problem with options with me. I'm speaking from experience. I was big in Tesla call options back when Tesla was like 120. I have the records to prove it. I made my first 50 grand off Tesla call options. And I will tell you the stress that I had and how easily I make 50 grand now. I don't want to brag or anything, but I've had a couple months where I have made that kind of money. And the stress that it took me to make that 50 grand back then, and the stress of watching it every day and the pain, I could have been learning and growing so much faster had I just not been taking that risk and not been gambling and not being stressed out, refreshing the screen on my phone every day, every minute, waking up at 6 o'clock just to watch it. I think you act like I haven't been there. I've been there, I've been there. So that's how I feel about that situation there. It's like, I don't want to be up at 6:30 in the morning stressed out just to watch it, not even to trade. I'd be up at 6:30 just to watch my options trade or just to watch the risk or the gamble I was taking, just to sit there and stare at my screen. How many hours of the day and the stress I wasted just staring at my screen, not even making a move, like just to look at it, Investing in yourself is way better than that. And you don't have to have the stress eating you away every single day by taking a very risky gamble. The Intelligent Investor is a great book. That's by Graham. That's a great book. I would definitely read that. It really is a heck of a journey. You're totally right, D-Man. Totally right. It's a journey. What do you do for work? I own a company, a small company called Mineral Exchange. You can find me if you go to my Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. I have links to my business and to all my other things that I do. If you go to my Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. Again, if I missed your comment here, I want to keep these live streams somewhere around an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours max, just so we can have people that weren't able to be up right now. Some people aren't up. They can actually watch it and not feel like they have to, sit through a 3-hour live stream. But I will get back. We'll get to a couple more comments here, but let's end the live stream in another maybe 5 minutes or something like that. You don't have any input on ADA or Ether. I don't have input on ADA. I'm still researching ADA, so I don't like to comment until I'm well informed on it. I won't just I've seen some channels where they just talk about something and they haven't actually researched it, kind of like Doge. But with ADA, I haven't researched it enough to comment on it. I'll do some research on it, but I want to see some adoption. I want to see things get adopted, just like PayPal got on Bitcoin, Cash App got on Bitcoin, like Tesla just bought 1.5 billion of Bitcoin. I am not going to buy, I'm not going to be confident about a position until I see confidence from other people, if that makes sense. I want to see the confidence that Tesla had with Bitcoin. I want to see that confidence. I want to see somebody buying with confidence. I want to see other billionaires talking about it with confidence, like Michael Saylor talks about Bitcoin. I don't see confidence really in the altcoin space yet, but I am watching it. Like I said, I could have got into Bitcoin a lot earlier than I did. I could have gotten to Bitcoin a lot earlier, but I didn't because I was waiting for somebody to talk more about it and to make more sense about it for me. And I'm happy about my cost average point of Bitcoin. You know, I'm very happy about my Bitcoin position now. That's how I feel about it. Almost everything is sold out on your website. Yeah, we're getting pretty constrained right now, especially when you consider that I'm a silver squirrel myself. You know, it's not easy being in charge of inventory when you're a silver squirrel. You know, it's not easy. You're like, no, not my acorns. I like my acorns. Like they all want my acorns, guys. Like I like my acorns myself. You know, it's hard. It's hard. But that's how but I do on an individual basis. If you click the wholesale buyers link on my website, there's a wholesale buyers club where it has a drop down. You can fill that out and I will contact you, or a sales representative will contact you about your needs on an individual basis. But that's how I feel about my metals, you know. It's genuine. I really, really, really believe in silver. Like, it's genuine. The people that know me know about my silver collection, and I am a squirrel. I'm a total squirrel. The people that watch my old videos and are like, I wonder if he still has it. It's a good bet. It's a good bet. I like my silver. But yeah. But it also makes you feel really good. And when you're in the silver business and people have made, like, I can literally tell you, nobody that bought silver a year ago lost money, you know, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. None of them lost money. So it's like it makes you feel good when people, you know, when you do good business. Good business makes you feel good. The problem is I like my stuff too much. You know, I like my product too much. And I keep a lot of my product. So eventually I will get more in, and we are helping people on an individual basis. We're still doing pretty, if people knew the volumes that we're doing right now, it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense in the metals business. I need some help. I'm in the process of building things right now with Mineral Exchange and growing things, and it's very hard to take a step back and expand when you're growing at such a fast rate. There's that line that I believe is Abraham Lincoln or somebody said that, where I'm going to butcher the line, but it's like, if I had a week to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 5 days sharpening my axe. And right now in the metals business, we're in a situation where everybody is just going for chopping trees with dull axes right now. And it would be more efficient to take a step back and do this YouTube thing and help people and get more people more informed about the space, instead of just constantly trying to sell. And you know, that's what would be the best analogy for it, is trying to chop down trees with a dull axe in a way. So it might make more sense to take a step back, sharpen yourself, and be able to approach this industry better. But if you go to the website and you click the wholesale buyers club, or if you go to my Facebook group, that's the easiest way to get metals. Hunter just told me 5 minutes is up. Everyone go to bed. I always do that in my live streams where I go, all right, we'll do 10 more minutes. An hour goes by. All right, we'll do 5 more minutes. An hour goes by. So I appreciate it, Hunter. Help me be able to get out of here and go to bed, because Lord knows I'll stay in here and keep talking with everybody for another 5 hours, because I've done it in the past. So watch out. I'll do it again. I really appreciate everybody for being part of this live stream. If I did miss your question, please go to @RobSultan on Instagram. I will answer your question there if you shoot me a DM. I'm working from the bottom up, so give me about a week to get back to everybody, because there's about, I want to say 300 or something like that. So I'm working through them, and some of these questions, they need a big reply. So I'm working through it from the bottom up, and I will get back to all of your questions at my Instagram, @RobSultan on Instagram. If you want to follow me there and shoot me a DM there, I will answer every single DM. It's me personally. Again, I'm a small YouTube channel, small Instagram channel. If you go over there, happy to get back to every single one of you in the Instagram comments, @RobSultan on Instagram. Really appreciate it. Pleasure talking with you all. Really love doing these live streams. Even if the Dogecoin guys don't like me very much, maybe I should just, you know, start promoting it and give them a fair shake. But honestly, I don't ever want to make videos that I don't genuinely believe myself. I don't want to make a video where it's just pointless flip-flopping content where I go, I don't like Dogecoin. I like Dogecoin. I don't like Dogecoin. I like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't want to buy it. I'll be honest about it. If somebody else wants to buy it, that's on you, but not for me. So I'm just always going to try my best to just remain authentic and put information out on the channel that I genuinely believe from the heart. Everybody, if you want to subscribe to the channel, if you're not subscribed to the channel, or if we can, we're actually at 393 likes right now. Can we get that to 400? Because I like round numbers. Can we get it to 400? 400 would be sweet. 393, almost there. We're so close. 394, 400. We could do it. I would really appreciate it because it does get this content out there. And maybe, just maybe, if this page gets large enough, we're able to get those higher profile interviews for the Silver Squirrels here. For our community, it would be amazing to be able to talk to guys like Peter Schiff about Bitcoin and silver and all of these things. It'd be amazing to talk to guys like Chamath Palihapitiya, Michael Saylor, Raoul Paul. I would love to talk with these guys. Anthony Pompliano, like all these guys that I watch every day. I would love to be able to sit down and chat with them, at least virtually. And everybody that hits that like button makes us that much closer to getting them in our little community here of Silver Squirrels here on YouTube. If you want to subscribe, we made it 412 likes. We exceeded expectations on the like button. I appreciate it. Be careful not to click it twice, because if you click it twice, then it'll remove the like. You never know. But yeah, if you click that like button, really appreciate it. If you click the subscribe, it's totally free to click the subscribe. So just please do click the subscribe. If you could click the subscribe down below, the red button subscribe, you click that button and you click the bell afterwards. You'll be notified of all future live feeds, all future content from this channel. Again, if you want to go to my Instagram, if I missed your comment over here, please go to my Instagram at Rob Sultan and I will get back to every single DM. It's the least I can do for how much support the community has given me. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you at the next video. Signing out.